Also here with Alan, and I gotta say, one of my favorite cities here in Taiwan.
In Tainan?
We are in Tainan, and it is one of my favorite cities in Taiwan.
Yeah. Would you say Tainan or Tainan?
Tainan.
And how would you say the country's name?
Taiwan.
Oh, okay. I get in trouble sometimes.
Yeah.
For the way I say Taiwan.
But anyways, I thought we would
DGAF.
Yeah. I just find like we've only been here a day, and by the way, we're in the middle of our little Huan Dao, or I guess it'd be a Ban Dao, would it be like a half circle around Taiwan?
Yep.
On our scooters, and our first trip is here in Tainan, and I've really kind of fallen in love with the place. I've been here before, but I never really get the chance to explore. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about why this place is so cool and why I think it's actually underrated. I think it's not given enough praise. I think it's not spoken about often enough. I think people often give it a miss.
But I think the Taiwanese people actually kind of like that. They kind of like that it keeps it sort of low profile style.
They're very local type thing?
I think so, yeah. I think they're happy with the size of their city and the sort of reputation it's got. It doesn't have a bad reputation, whereas like some of the bigger cities, Taichung has the
city where the bullet flies,
the gangster problem. Yeah, Taipei has the cold-hearted people. Tainan is just kind of sitting there in fourth position.
It's nice and chill and relaxed.
Yeah, I mean Kaohsiung is a good competitor, I guess, but again, Kaohsiung is probably a little bit too big compared to what the Taiwanese people want.
Well, I think Tainan has something that Kaohsiung doesn't, an advantage.
What's that?
So Kaohsiung is a really big city, and that's just sort of what it feels like, a big city. I feel like Tainan has an aesthetic, an atmosphere. It has a real character to it that I've never really seen before in any other place in Taiwan, and I really, really like that. And I can't, this is, again, really difficult to put into words because it's an aesthetic.
Yep.
It's very difficult to describe unless you're here. But there's just such an, I find every time I walk, like we're walking under these like lantern things. I just think that's so neat, that's so cool. There's little bits of art sprinkled throughout the city that,
you're in holiday mode, so you've got like a really positive, oh, this looks like a pretty cute street.
Yeah.
Do you think you're in like a holiday mode and you're kind of looking at things through rose-tinted sunglasses?
Yeah, I mean,
as opposed to the positive sunglasses that you look through everything when you're in work?
Well, that's the thing. I think if I were to live here, I wouldn't like it so much because it sort of loses its luster.
Yeah.
But I think as a tourist, and I am on holiday, it's my only time off all year long, so I'm
giving yourself a huge amount of pressure to have fun and like stuff.
No, but I really do like it. I think like there's tons of little restaurants deep in these little alleys that you'd never see from the major roads.
Yeah.
There's so many little bits of life happening here, and I just find, and I do like how they've kept the old architecture from the Japanese colonial era and haven't really knocked them down. So a lot of these buildings we're walking by right now were built by the Japanese, and they haven't really, I'm sure some of it's been restored to some extent, but it's definitely kept that sort of old style aesthetic, which I really like.
Yeah. And also you've never been here with me before, so that's probably having a massive impact on the way you view in the city.
Well, let's ask you, what about Tainan do you think is so special? Why do you like Tainan so much? Or maybe you don't.
Well, I've got a special connection to Tainan because my 1 million view video is Taiwan Safe. It was about a story that took place in Tainan, where I lost my wallet. I lost my wallet in Tainan, and if you want to find out what happened at the end of that story, go check out that link just up there that he puts in the video.
Yeah.
But as you can guess, it's a positive story, so you can guess what happened to my wallet.
Okay, so
it came back.
The reason you like Tainan is because you got 1 million views here.
No, it's just like it's a positive experience during the early years of my life in Taiwan, when I was kind of a bit still in shock as to what the hell was going on with the cultures, and like it's a really happy story that happened to me, regardless of the fact I used it to tell a story in a video.
All right, so he has nothing to do with Tainan.
Well,
really?
I got my wallet back.
Okay.
Like from a person that didn't identify themselves, they just sent it back to me, and I felt like really gracious to the whole population of Tainan, because it could have been anyone.
Okay.
A bit like Schrodinger's cat, where the cat is in the box and it's both dead and alive at the same time. So it's like every single person in Tainan gave me my wallet back, as far as I was concerned, because you can't identify who it was. We're getting deep on Crozzy's channel.
Comment down below if Alan's completely lost you.
Well, you're going to translate it into Chinese. But no, I mean, like I said at the very start of the video, like that fourth city feeling kind of reminds me a little bit of my city back home, Liverpool. Liverpool is a very cultural, historical city. Tainan, and Tainan kind of matches that. It's got like that.
Well, it has a lot to be proud of. I mean, it has a really deep, rich history, which not a lot of cities in Taiwan has.
I think it's where the Han people first landed, where they first came. It's the first capital city of Taiwan.
And the Dutch as well, yeah. And it's also sort of I would consider probably the best food on the island is in Tainan. And I know that a lot of other people I know if you're Taiwanese and you're from, you know, whatever city, and you're gonna say, no, we have the best food. It is of my opinion that the food here is truly special. There's something about it that I don't know.
It's the first thing when we mentioned to our Taiwanese friends that we're going to Tainan. The first thing they mention is, oh, the food is so good.
Yeah.
So regardless of where they're from, I think most people can admit it's kind of like the capital of food. Whoa.
Yeah. Capital food city. I mean, just look, like we've walked down this alleyway and just have a look at this giant temple. Like, and this stuff is all over the city. Yeah. And I think that's so cool. I often say that Taiwanese cities are uglier than sin, right?
Well, yeah.
I don't think that way about Tainan at all. Now, the problem Tainan has, in my opinion, is exactly, you said it reminded you of your hometown, and it kind of reminds me of my hometown, Ottawa, as well. Because Tainan is stuck smack dab in the middle between Taichung and Kaohsiung, which are two major big cities. Yeah. Tainan, people usually give Tainan a skip. They give it a pass because it's much easier if you're driving a car, if you're doing a Huandao. Yeah. You can easily make it from Taichung to Kaohsiung without really it's not that bad of a drive. Well, so there's no reason to stop in Tainan. You might just pass by it. I'm talking about, like, you know, if you're a tourist and you don't know anything about Tainan, you might think, because my first year and a half here, I honestly never considered going to Tainan. I always just thought it'd be like a massive waste of time, not that exciting. It'd just be another kind of like tier 3 city with nothing really to see or nothing really to show for itself. And oh my god, did it ever prove me wrong.
It's got massive amounts of history.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about the food, I know I mentioned the food. He did a video where he went to a breakfast restaurant, a really special traditional breakfast restaurant with our friend and guide here, Yvain, who's fantastic. And then we had lunch. And yeah, I mean, I think the only bad thing about doing a Huandao is that we don't have time to stop and spend a few days here and really get to go through those alleyways and really try to pick apart.
Well, how do you fit like so many different foods and restaurants into 24 hours? It's impossible. So
exactly. I would say give Tainan a whole week if you can, and I think we're fortunate enough to live so close where I honestly think on the weekends I might just pop down here and explore a little bit more. Because I just like the city so much. I mean, if you're watching behind us, if you're watching the background, if you're paying close attention, there's so much to see, and it's so different from Taichung. And I was gonna make a video about how much I kind of dislike Taichung because it's such a uncharacteristic city. It's got no soul. You love it, and I can understand why, because your son was born there. Yep. But I don't find it has anything really particularly worthwhile.
That's not the only reason I love it. That's just like a sort of a deeper feeling in my soul, so to speak. Okay. But also, like, it's just my home. Like, it truly looked after me when I came to Taiwan, and like the whole city is where I built my life. Right. So it's genuinely, Taichung is my hometown of Taiwan. Okay. Just as much as like the place where you're born back in the West, you can say it's a shithole because it's your town. Yeah. But you still love it. You still go back there for holidays and visiting people. So the same, when I'm in England and I miss Taiwan, the fundamental reason I miss it is because I miss my home, the feeling of being in Taichung.
Yeah, and also, okay, here's one thing. I have a question for my Taiwanese audience now that we're finishing up this video. Yep. Okay, something I've noticed about Tainan, I just find this so ridiculous, is that when the government buys land to build roads, instead of just knocking down the building that was there, they just knock down half of it. I don't know if that's in frame or if that's in shot, but have a look at this, okay? Someone explain this shit. That's half a house. Like, someone was taking a bath in one of these rooms like not long ago, and the government just sawed the building in half
and put a road here.
And put a road here. Look, they still have like their plants and their shelves and stuff up there. Like, there's still remnants of a family that once lived there, and now
could it be an earthquake? I don't know. Like, but it's just a coincidence.
Oh,
it's right next to the road.
An earthquake, I suppose. So yeah,
but still.
But I want that question answered because it's just it's so common here. I find it almost on like every abandoned building. There's half of it still there.
Yeah, there was a couple as we were walking around. Just
some of them still in use.
Yeah,
which is really strange. Anyways, I know this video is a bit general. I didn't get into too many details because we haven't had time to really film it. If you want to know more of those details, again, check out his channel because it's all there. But I just wanted to quickly say how much I appreciate Tainan and how cool it is, because it's very rare that I praise a city as much as I am here.
Can I jump in and just say one thing? We did lose a wallet in Taichung and someone returned it to us, like on video.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
feel
as
like
if
your
like
whole point is redundant. I think anywhere on the island people will do that.
I know.
Anyways, Tainan, huge recommend. I'm not being paid to say this. I just love this city. I think it's super cool. Where are we off tomorrow? Today for
we are hitting the road.
Yes, once again.
A couple of hours further down south to Kaohsiung.
Yeah, I can't wait to check that city out.
Yep, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna go even further south or go east.
Yeah.
The world is our lobster.
Stay positive. Keep for sticking on the ice. Catch you guys in Kaohsiung.
Bye.